Hi, Brenna. It's nice
Hi.
to see you today.
Good to see you too.
How are things going for you?
They're going well. Things are good. Just hoping to move soon. Yes, get out of the in-laws.
Yes, yes. And you're still in school full time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I am at National University. I'm almost done, and we'll have my bachelor's in psych pretty soon.
Oh, how exciting.
I'm really looking forward to that.
I bet you're going to be really happy to be finished with the program.
Yes, very much so. I'm ready to start working in the field.
Yes. So, tell me about your move. When are you moving, and how are you feeling about your move?
Well, we put a holding deposit down in an apartment that we're getting. It's supposed to come available July 15th, and then we have like a 2-week window to move in. But we're moving in, me and my fiance are moving in with one of his best friends. And so I guess I'm really excited about the move because our cats are going to have more room and we're going to be out of his parents' house and in our own place. But then I've never lived with a roommate before besides parents. So that is a little nerve-wracking. I'm starting to get a little, I'm overthinking it.
So then let me get this right. So you're going to be moving in the middle of July, and you and your fiance are leaving your future in-laws house, and you're going to be moving in with a roommate.
Yeah.
Aha, and your cats are going with you.
Yeah.
Oh, that definitely sounds like a lot all at once. How do you know your roommate? Is he your friend? Is he a friend of your fiance's?
Well, like I said, he's my fiance Mike. It's one of his best friends. They've known each other since high school. He's actually one of the groomsmen in our wedding. So he's known him for a while. I mean, he's a really respectful guy. We hang out almost every week and we play video games together at night. I think that it's going to be okay. He seems like the kind of person that's a man of his word and, won't possibly not pay us rent for a month or, expect us to buy him groceries. But I am just still nervous because living with someone is completely different than just being their friend.
Yes. So I hear you have a little bit of anxiety about entering into a roommate situation with someone, even though they seem like they're going to be a really good roommate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of, I think, where I'm at right now with the whole thing. So I've just been, and, my fiance and his friend who we're moving in with, both have this like, oh, we'll figure it out kind of attitude, and it drives me crazy because I am a planner.
Yes.
And I like lists and schedules, and I can't just, oh, we'll figure it out when we get there.
Oh, wow. That definitely sounds like it would be pretty difficult if you're a planner to not have an exact plan of how everything's going to go.
Yeah.
So in our time today, I thought we could maybe explore this a little bit and maybe come up with some ideas for how to make your move go more smoothly and explore some ideas for how to alleviate some of the anxiety surrounding the roommate situation.
Right.
So, but before we start coming up with ideas, I wanted to know, what are some things that you've tried up till this point? I know you're feeling anxious, but have you had any discussions with your fiance about it or the roommate?
Well, when we first made the decision, Mike and we talked about it to make sure that we were both okay with moving in with him because, we have talked about roommates before, but we've always been really kind of cautious about doing it. Then once we kind of said, okay, we gave the idea to Alex, the roommate.
Okay.
And he told us that he was totally willing to do it because he does not like his roommates right now, which already kind of made me a little anxious because I remember when he first moved into his house, he was super excited to live with them.
Yes.
So it was like, okay, first you move in with these people and you're excited, and then here we are 8 months later and you hate them.
Yes.
So that already kind of made me nervous, but, we all sat down over pizza and we talked about it, and he was like, yeah, I'm totally ready. I'll help you guys out with whatever you need. I think that living with you guys would be really cool. He really respects us as people, and, he's always super supportive of Mike and I as a couple. And he's allergic to cats, but he's even said that he's fine with the cats because he understands that it's Mike and I and the cats. It's not, you know, we're not giving up our cats for a roommate. So, we had a discussion about that, and then when we put down the holding deposit, I tried to have a discussion with them about how we're going to split the rent, but they weren't really concerned about it at that moment, and I was.
Yes.
So that I had a little bit of a panic attack when that first happened, because we just, you know, put down $250 and we don't even know who's going to be paying what yet.
Yes. So you're concerned that you've already put the deposit down. You've had maybe a couple of sort of open-ended discussions about the situation.
Right.
And I can tell that you might be a little concerned about his allergies and having to live with two cats.
Yeah, it makes me nervous.
So those are...
Yeah, I guess, you know, with the way that I overthink, I'm a little worried that he's going to maybe have an allergy attack one time and then get upset with us. Or, you know, if the cats go and pee in his room, you know, what's he going to do? Is he going to get upset? You know, I mean, my cats are really good, but they're animals.
Of course. So you're feeling a little bit anxious about what's going to happen with the cats when you're in this roommate situation too.
Yeah.
And it sounds like from what you've said, you've just had sort of an open discussion.
Yeah.
Without an exact plan.
Right.
And I also hear you saying that you would like to have a plan.
Yes.
Is that right?
Very much so.
So then let's say, why don't we try to think of a plan for you to work on with your fiance, Mike, and with your roommate, Alex. Maybe we can explore a couple of ideas to get a plan in place to help you feel less anxious and to get this off the ground.
That would be fantastic.
So do you have any ideas of what you think would be a good way to get this plan going?
Well, I've already, you know, thought about going to like Michael's or Target or something and getting like a whiteboard that we can list out exactly, you know, what the bills are going to be each month and who's paying for what. I mean, we have decided, the one decision we've made is that we're going to be splitting everything in thirds.
Okay.
So Mike and I will pay 2/3 and then Alex will pay 1/3. But then on top of that third, Mike and I will be paying the pet rent portion.
Okay.
Because they're not Alex's cats. And he actually even offered to help pay that portion, but I told him that no, because I want to be responsible for my own animals.
Of course.
So I said, you know, I really appreciate it, but you can, you know, maybe pitch in somewhere else. So I think that like some sort of visual schedule would be very helpful for us, especially when we move in together, and even creating it before we even move in, you know, like who's going to take out the trash and, you know, who's taking care of dishes certain nights of the week and stuff like that. So that's really that's the only thing I've really come up with so far, just because I don't really know. I've never lived with a roommate before. Usually it's just parents and everything's already decided.
Of course. So this kind of situation can be a little challenging to get started. Yeah. So you've mentioned maybe a schedule for finances and a schedule for the physical duties of living together, right?
Right, yeah.
And so for the financial schedule, what do you see that looking like? I know you mentioned 2/3 for you and your fiance and 1/3 for Alex. How do you see that looking, or what do you see that looking like on paper? Do you see that in the form of like a spreadsheet or?
Well, I mean, what I kind of see it as, what I've pictured in my head is sort of having the total amounts of everything for the month, maybe like up at the top or something.
Okay.
And then have a column for Mike and a column for me and a column for Alex. And then putting the amounts for each of those things in the column so everyone knows where it's originally coming from. No one thinks that, oh, maybe it really wasn't, you know, $100 for SMUD or $50 for PG&E and she's just lying to me.
Right.
Because I'm going to be, I'm like the... what's it called? I'm like the head person on the lease.
Okay.
And so they're always going to call me for rent, and then I already have accounts with SMUD and PG&E, so it's my name on it's basically my name on everything.
Okay.
So I'm going to be the one getting the bills, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to gyp them. So I figured it would be helpful to put the totals, at the top, and then have our columns, and then as the people have done their portions by either giving me cash or writing me a check, or we all do it together, we can kind of cross them out so that we know when they've been paid, because that's another thing is, if I don't expect them to do that, I'm not going to know when they pay for something.
Of course.
And it's happened in the past where we've been late on stuff. So
yes. Well, it sounds like you have a really good idea for a financial schedule. How do you feel about being the person whose name is on everything? How do you feel about that?
Part of me likes it, because I know that if something goes wrong, I feel like I'm the most responsible of the group to be able to handle those situations.
Right.
But then at the same time, because I'm the most responsible, and these, grown men who are not grown men, they are not as responsible, and so if something happens, it's on my name.
Of course.
So it's it's 50-50 right now. I'm nervous about it, but then I like it, because I would rather, myself be in charge of the bills and making sure everything gets paid on time, and, kind of running the household.
Well, it sounds like you like the portion of being in control.
Yeah.
But then you're anxious about everyone doing their part.
Right.
So those are the two pieces.
That's it right there.
And then as far as a schedule of the daily duties or the responsibilities within the household that aren't necessarily related to finances, how do you envision that schedule?
That one's been a little more difficult for me to envision, just because I don't know if Alex is going to be planning on eating there every night. I don't know his work schedule, and I don't know if we're planning on all buying groceries together, or if he's buying his own food and we're buying our own food, or, certain nights we make dinner, certain nights he does. So that one I've been trying to come up with stuff, honestly, but that one I'm struggling with.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure, and then obviously, he wouldn't be the one to clean the litter boxes, because they're not his cats.
Of course.
So, maybe that's the trade-off. He could be responsible of taking out the trash, but then it's what if he's gone for a weekend? Then I would obviously, either myself or Mike would do it, but yeah, it's that one, the physical duties has been hard, because I'm a very clean person, and I like my house clean and tidy, and I don't want it to smell like a cat box. So,
Can understand that.
I hope that they're on board with that as well.
Yes. So it sounds like then the schedule of the daily responsibilities is going to be more challenging than maybe the financial schedule.
Yeah.
And that, you're having a little bit of a challenge getting that going, because, and especially if you are, from what it sounds like, you're very particular about how you like to keep house.
Yes.
So it seems like
Very
that
particular.
would be a really good thing to work on before you enter into the roommate situation.
It's a huge thing. I think definitely something I need to work out.
So then let's come up with kind of an action plan, maybe a timeline.
Okay.
Do you think that might help to create a timeline and set some goals for creating these schedules and getting together with your roommate and your fiance? That way the process will be less nerve-wracking as you get closer?
Yeah, I think that would be a really good idea, because I just right now kind of feel like I'm trying to do it on my own. So
that must be really, really scary.
Yeah.
When do you think that, as far as a financial schedule goes, when do you think that you could get together with the two of them and get that going? When do you think you might be able to do that?
Well, preferably before July 15th.
Okay, of course.
Probably over the 4th of July break is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Because another problem that we're running into is that we aren't really telling anyone else that we're doing this.
Oh, okay.
And so a group of our friends, originally one of them had actually talked about moving in with Alex.
Oh.
And Alex just kind of ignored the conversations and kind of let them taper off.
Okay.
And then now all of a sudden he's going to move in with us.
Oh, and so no one knows that he's planning to do this with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone who knows thinks that it's just Mike and I.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been a little challenging because we, usually when we get together with him, it's with our whole group of friends. We do a dinner every Tuesday night. And so the last few times, we can't really talk about it because we're not really sure if anyone should know yet or not. So we've kind of kept things to a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So meeting up to talk about this has been difficult.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that adds a whole nother dimension to this process. That
Yes.
if you haven't been able to talk about it with anyone, I kind of hear that you're feeling a little anxious about that too.
Yeah, definitely am feeling anxious about that. But I'm just, I'm thinking probably like the beginning of July
Okay.
is when we'll be meeting up to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And when we have this meeting, I want to come at them with something already planned out so that they can't be like, oh, well, we'll figure it out. I'm like, no, it's already figured out for you.
Okay. So it sounds like you'd like to have something almost going into it.
Yes.
Something ready to go.
Exactly.
And then as far as the schedule for the duties, responsibilities around the house,
Mm-hmm.
when do you think that you would be able to set that up with them?
That one will probably have to happen around the time that we move in.
Okay.
Just because, my fiance might also be getting a new job pretty soon.
Ah, okay.
And I don't know Alex's schedule, and sometimes he works super late, so it would be helpful. And then we might be able to actually get that knocked out too at our meeting with the financial.
Okay.
Just because if he can tell me his work schedule, maybe we can say, okay, well, why don't Mondays and Wednesdays you make dinner,
Mm-hmm.
or Tuesdays and Thursdays, or like weekends is just free for all, or
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't mind making dinner for them, but I expect some help with groceries.
Of course. Well, it sounds like then around as it gets closer to move-in would be a good time to divide that up.
Yeah, because my class, the class I'm in now ends in the beginning of July, and then I have a month off. So I figure that that'll be a good time because then I won't also be worried about completing assignments and
Of course.
my paper and everything. So.
Sounds like that will be one less thing off of your plate.
Yes, very much so.
Well, it was really great that we got a chance to talk together today. It sounds like there's a lot of things that we can work on with this.
Yeah.
I think we can make some really good changes, and I think that doing these schedules is a great step. That'll be a great first step, and then it sounds like there's some other issues surrounding it with the animals, and then with your fiance's job. So
Yeah.
at our next session, if those things are more of a concern, we can come up with an action plan and set some goals for those two things as well.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right.
Already just unloading all of this has helped so much.
That's
I haven't
wonderful.
really been able to talk to anyone about it, so.
Of course. And I know that when you're a planner and the other people in your life are not,
Mhm.
it is challenging. So I think making these schedules and developing this plan will really help you out.
Yeah,
So,
I really hope so.
well, it's great to talk to you today, and I wish you
you.
luck with your program
Thank
and
you so much.
luck with your wedding too.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Brenna.
All right.